A palette full of color, we'll leave the truth uncovered. Cause only lies are white. We use the words we write to shine a light on life. My light is lava like it's hot and burning bright. Now read, recall, record, recite. We covered everything.
Hi everybody, we are back with another episode of And Cyn. I am Cynthia Dorsey.
I'm Veronique McRae.
And we're so happy that you're here with us today in the room. We're super excited to talk about a new playwright today. Her name is Brie Knight. Brie is a Philadelphian. She's a member of the Foundry, which is a playwrights lab. She's written a couple of plays. One of her plays, The Pancake Queen, received the 2015 Sue Wing Playwright Award at Villanova University. And she also received development at Playpen's 2017 annual conference. So Brie is really pushing forth her career as a playwright, especially in a lot of these programs for writers of color. Brie has served as a dramaturgy intern at People's Light. Two of her other plays, Inside Out and The Bitches, which we will cover today, are also available on the New Play Exchange site. Brie focused on film and cinema at Drexel University, where she received her bachelor's degree, and then went on to Villanova University, where she received her master's degree in theater. We're so happy to talk about Brie today and introduce her to those of you who may not know her. And we're also really excited to cover playwrights that should be on our radar.
All right, so now let's jump into Brie's play, The Bitches. So The Bitches is what the correlation of our characters. We are introduced to three main characters and one silent character in this piece, all in a beautiful cafe in the Hotel de Barclay. And what is interesting about these characters is that it's exactly what you think it is. It is a set of middle-aged to close middle-aged dogs. But through Brie's brilliant correlation or personification of these dogs, we're going to dive into a play that addresses race, class, and socioeconomic systems, all through the eyes and the lives of the bitches. So you'll be introduced to Susan, Penny, and Anne-Marie, along with a very silent male Baptiste. And I think we should just kind of jump right in based off of that small little introduction to Brie's brilliant work.
Yeah. I thoroughly appreciated The Bitches as a take on humanitarianism, I feel like, because we are all walking through life dealing with isms of other people. Mm-hmm. And this play highlights that from the outside looking in. And I thoroughly appreciate I just thoroughly appreciate her take on it. And using dogs, I feel like as the metaphorical take is brilliant, like you said. I don't even know where to start. Let's start with the relationships women have.
Yes.
think that's definitely a highlight. As you know, as Veronique said, all of the characters, they're women. All right, these are female names. They are women in the play, and the male is silent, which is an interesting take on our world, right?
Yeah.
How we relate and speak and treat each other as women is something that we all need to take a look at. What do you think?
No, I totally agree. Between like you stated earlier, between the state of the philanthropic piece, like what does it look like, these groups that are created to give and help the other, and what does that look like? And then what is that interaction between women? Because to me, it seems like in, real life human society, we can be very much pitted against each other, whether it's for looks, background, educational levels, and how do we respect and honor one another as women. And it's very interesting, like you said, with the male character in here being silent, because is that how it really looks, or is that how it looks when you start pushing towards upper middle or rich class for certain demographics of women? Is the male more silent in their dealings? And then how do we treat one another? Because to me, there's a character in here, Penny, who's pretty much almost treated like, not the term side piece, but she's treated like, secondhand, just be grateful to be here in my presence, and how that relationship, but I call you friend as a woman, you're supposed to be friend and loyal, right? Because we're talking about dogs, and colleague and in this group with me, but the way you're treated is almost in a way of you be silent because you really don't know what you're talking about. And kind of in a form of servitude as well, just not as great as the male character Baptiste in here. So you bringing up the relationships between women and how we treat one another, I think that's very strong in the relationship between Susan and Penny in the piece.
Yeah, absolutely. Myself being a part of a sorority, you can see those dynamics in not just in sororities, but any social group. You see the women who are the leaders, who always want to be the leaders and they don't want to share leadership. You see cliques in the group. You see those who cater to the leader. And then you see those who are really put down as lesser than, like they're the help per se. You see this in any group, any social group. I feel like what makes this very important to dissect is that this is a group that is supposed to be a collective that helps and aids in the lives of others through service. And that is something that is supposed to come from a good place. So if all of your planning and your strategy to help others isn't kind, then how is the gift giving and the service kind in origin, if that makes sense?
No, it does.
Yeah. And that's what I really left me think. I think this entire piece just left me thinking about, where is my place in all of this? Who am I? When I enter a social group or friends or in my sorority, who am I? Which one of those women are? Because we can identify ourselves with anybody in this piece, but who am I, and what do I need to do to shift that? What can I say to make sure the entire group aligns with each other respectfully? These are the things I was left thinking about.
Definitely. I believe for me, it made me think wholly about intention. What is your intention behind what you do? Is it out of service, or is it out of self-aggrandizement? Is it out of a genuine place of care, or is it out of a place of status.
Mm.
And so when diving into these characters and looking, and then not wanting to tell the whole story because we really want you to go pick up Brie's plays along with the other playwrights that we discussed. So we don't want to give away everything, but enough to make you say, yes, let me go search and see where I can get this. But just seeing how one character really was there seeking a place of community and to give service, and another character was there to have the mask of that and then enjoy the benefits of someone in a higher position. And what I loved about the piece is not only looking at those things we discussed, but then it enters in, of course, these are a group of dogs, so their acts are to help other dogs in need.
Mm-hmm.
But when one of the dogs mentions helping a cat and cats in need,
yes,
okay, the tables turn. And for me, it made me think about now in human relationships and acts of service, which groups get help and which groups are not deemed worthy, which groups do I help that make me seem like the greater person, even though in reality, I'm really not caring about them. It's just, if I look like I care, I will look good. And then which groups will, you just don't do that. So I loved how in this, relatively short piece, Brie is able to hit all of these different factors, and it really makes you do some self-work about, like you said, who am I and what is my intention and what is my goal and what is my purpose, and am I being authentic to those things? Am I being truthful with myself about why I'm doing things? The piece really made me think about, it was a few years ago. My partner and I had done a Thanksgiving church service down near the MLK library in DC. Not a church service, but we giving away food. And there was still a ton of food left over. And we were familiar with like what used to be like the tent communities around K Street and then some of the subway areas and stuff and the parks in DC. So we, he said, hey, I'll load up the car. We can go and just drop, food off to these places to people who may not have made it down here, people who just didn't have the ability to get down to that location. So we go, and there's a couple of other people out there, and they're giving food, but taking selfies and taking pictures, right? So then it made it difficult because when we went to go give food to a few people, at first they were very standoffish and upset. They were like, no, because I'm not a charity case, or no, I don't, because I don't want you taking my photo. And it made me think, and when reading this play, it made me think about intention, because do you really need a photo op for everything you do? Did you even ask that person permission for them to be a part of your IG story? What is your real intention? If you really just want to go and serve, do there have to be cameras everywhere? And do I have to exploit the people I'm serving? And then it makes you say, how do you look at that? And it goes back to the main issue that you spoke about, which is humanity. Because if I recognize that you are human just like me, and I want to respect your humanity and your dignity and your privacy, I don't have a right to snap a photo just because I'm giving you something.
Right.
I could at least ask, but do I even really need to ask? Do I even really need to have the photo? Because outside of things where people may have to apply for grants or something in nonprofits, you might need a photo or two, and that's a whole, different subset or area, but you really don't need a ton of photos for that, right? If I'm just doing something out of being led from a place of kindness, do I remember to recognize the humanity of the other person? And do I not exclude people based on my own biases? Do I think about the cats too? Or is it just the dogs? So.
Yeah. Do I think about the cats too, or just the dog? is where we're going to leave you guys. I think we both are pretty much saying the same thing. It's time for us as human beings to allow who we to begin to analyze who we are in the world and what we are putting out there. And I thank Brie for challenging us with this piece. There is a website, and I'll put it below. Is a great place where you can go and look for playwrights that you might not know. Playwrights that are really doing some phenomenal work. And I hope that we continue to cover a lot of the women of color that are on this site. Thank you so much again, Brie. I'm definitely going to tag you in all of this and just get your name out there, because we know that you are going to keep pushing for us to be challenged artistically and in our lives, in our daily lives. So we are bringing on another phenomenal actress, as always. Stay tuned to hear her story.
So it is truly, truly my honor, my privilege, just a great love for me to introduce to you today's guest, Taquoia Street. She is not only a friend, a sister, art colleague. She honestly, ever since I've met her, has embodied what it means to be an artist. As an actress, for the times where she will sing as a singer, as a dancer, as a writer, as a director, as a teacher, as a leader. She has always had this spirit about the arts and this love and passion for the arts that reminds you why you have your passion. And it's so awesome to finally get connected with her and get her on board for today for Cyn. She has been a blessing to me. And I'm going to let her tell you just a snippet of what she's done. But she is somebody, when somebody is born to do something, not limit her, because she does even more than that. But she is an example of when you are born and purpose to do something. So welcome, Taquoia. Thank you for coming on with Cynthia and I today. I would love for you to just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your arts life.
Sure. It's a pleasure to be here with both of you amazing ladies today as well. And thank you for inviting me. I feel very honored to be in the midst of you virtually. A little bit about myself. I've been acting since a little girl, since I can remember. I started out, just playing around the house, which led to church. And church really blossomed the the artist in me. So not only did we write our own, Christmas plays and things like that, but I started to do more of that and more of directing. So the older I got, I started taking drama classes, in middle and high school, and it just was something that I knew that I really loved to do. And not only did I love to do it, but I was good at it. So that was like, yes, let's do this. So just to fast forward, I did go to North Carolina Central University, and I do have my Bachelor of Arts in Theater, and my concentration was performance while I was there. So lots of experiences doing a little bit of everything there, and which is how I met Veronique in the first place at North Carolina Central. So that was a really good experience, and I really just try to do everything that I can do as far as acting goes. Even if I'm not in the play, I don't mind coaching or directing, or I've been dabbling in writing and, different things like that. So Definitely an artist to the core, and I really, really enjoy the craftsmanship, not just surface acting, is what I call it. You know, people just getting in front of the camera and saying, hey, I'm just going to do this. No, I get to the bottom, the nitty gritty of it. That's what I like. That's what I enjoy. So being able to portray someone else and make other people believe it is definitely can be challenging at times, but a good challenge. So I greatly do everything that I can do as it comes to acting. It's my passion. It's what I love. If I'm not doing anything with it, then it's like, such is life. Like, what am I doing? But I feel that this is my purpose. And no matter if I am on that stage or if I'm on that camera, if I'm just teaching little kids, which is something that I'm doing right now, I have to be a part of it. I hope that answers your question.
What's your artist statement? Like, what are you committed to putting out there into the industry, into the world?
Yeah, I would say true artistry. There's a lot of different platforms right now, and a lot of people have a chance to do a lot of different things that we didn't have access to as we were coming up. I'm from like that old school. You got to send your auditions, and you know, you got to do all of this. It wasn't a platform like TikTok or Instagram. Like, you had to work for it. So I am an artist to the core, that old school mentality that you have to work for it. It's not gonna be just throwing up something, you know, true artistry and really educating yourself and really get into what's important, the foundations of the art itself. So respecting the art of acting.
So as an artist to the core, as someone who is really in that foundation of I work hard and you put the work in and you do what you need to do, but also as a Black woman artist, because this platform and the show, of course, highlights our Black, you know, women and identifying artists and Black playwrights. What has been one of the challenges you would say as being a Black female artist navigating the artistic world?
Oh yeah, that's easy. And I really appreciate all of the Black women, Black artists who have been changing that narrative for us that has been put out there for so long ago. So of course the typecast, the stereotypes, that's the hardest thing, and trying to let the world know that you can be something else outside of a prostitute or drug addict or single mom, or, you know, all of these different narratives that are put on Black women itself has not only just been put on Black women, but on Black artists as well. We're not just mammies and housekeepers, but we can own the company and portray that in our art. So that has been one of the many struggles that I feel a Black woman, a Black artist has, is going against the norm of the box that mainstream, you know, theater or film has tried to put us in. And it's taken a lot of work and a lot of different people to come pave that way to change that narrative for us.
Your resume is vast. You have done so much work. Can you tell us what you do to try and, you know, get work? A lot of actors we talk to, you know, find it hard to find outlets to use their gifts. What are you doing to make sure you are seen and heard?
That's a great question. Yes, I love it. So, for me, it's been more networking. For me, it's knowing people who knows people who knows people. So honestly, I haven't had to really audition for anything in quite some time for a lot of those roles that I've had privy to have. It's been know someone who knows someone who knows someone, whether that, person trusts and already knows about my craft and how important I take it, or if they just heard about me, hey, or maybe it's because I need some credit, I just need somebody. So for me, I haven't had to audition in a very long time. I haven't thrown myself back out there in a while for auditioning due to life, just life. Not that I won't, not that I can't. But I do think that that's something that a lot of people don't have, So I don't take that for granted, not even a little bit, because I do know it's hard to get yourself out there and to send your resumes. I mean, I've done it, sending the resumes and you're not hearing anything back, going for something and you're not getting it. It's part of the deal, right? And so every role that I do get, that I am fortunate enough to have, I take it seriously, because you never know who's going to see that or who you're going to meet while you're in the midst of that, and just where things will go from that. So when I was in New York, I did join Central Casting. I can't remember what it's called now. I think they changed the name. And so, I did a couple auditions for that, but I was there in the wintertime and storms came. And so things fell through. So I have a couple of different close moments like that could have really escalated my career. But I think about it, I am in the place where I should be, that God wants me to be in, and what's for me will be for me, whether it happen now, tomorrow, next week, or 5 years from now. So I hope that answers your question.
No, it does. And I think one of the things that I love that you just mentioned is like where you're supposed to be. It's been interesting navigating COVID. And what does the arts look like in virtual theater, or what do sets look like now, even what type of scenes are created. But I would love for you, if you would like to expand more on that, because there are a lot of people who get caught up. And I mean, I know I went through that phase, and sometimes I have those moments. They feel like if they haven't hit this certain mark by this certain age, or haven't acquired a certain type of title or union status, they feel like that window has closed. How does your knowledge or your faith, or knowing what is for you, or knowing God has you, how do you tap into that as an artist? Because we have these things where we can be really hot and we're doing stuff, and then it could be 2 or 3 years before we do something else, and that's just part of our life. So what would you offer others, and how to kind of get in that space of knowing that, God has you and it's yours? What is kind of that process for you?
That's a great question, because it doesn't come easy, right? And so this mentality that I have right now is something that I've worked towards. It's a part of my being faithful and trusting and believing in God that things will happen when it's supposed to happen. That wasn't my thought always. Like, I had to grow and get there, because I too was like, oh, well, I don't have a union status, or I'm not doing anything, or I'm still in North Carolina type of thing. And then, I have an almost 8-year-old daughter now. And so when I got pregnant, it's like, okay, I did a show while I was pregnant. I was really nervous, like, oh my gosh, am I going to get kicked out the play because I'm pregnant, right? Or whatever. And it's just that life, just the balance of it all can be tricky. And so depending on where you are in life can determine, your thoughts and your feelings about everything. And so because I had my moment, right? Oh my gosh, now I have a kid. It's all over, right? It was my thought process. But then I started being more creative. And I started thinking outside the box. And I started saying, you know what? It's okay that I'm not in California doing something. It's okay that I'm not in New York. It's okay if I'm not on a film. Like, what can I do with the means that I have access to right now to satisfy this urge And I call it an urge because acting and art is a part of me. I have to do something. And so I pivoted. And so for the last couple of years, it's just been that urge. I got to do something. What can I do? I've been teaching. So I've been teaching kids, kindergarten through 5th grade. I've been teaching them the Stanislavski method and the techniques. I mean, we've been getting it, okay? And so just being able to do things like that and write and direct plays for them has allowed me to tap into that artistry in a whole nother capacity that I never even thought I would be doing. And so although I'm not getting money for it, I'm not getting paid for it, I'm not getting these big accolades for it, I don't care. It doesn't matter because I know now through some of my experiences what's for me, and when it's my time, it will be for me and it will be mine. And everybody's path is different. So understanding that your path doesn't look the same as another is very important. And once you get past that, then you can succeed and start using your mind and your brain and actually doing things.
I love that. I love hearing that kids are learning the Stanislavski method. Like, whoa, I love it. I love it. All right. So speaking of with what is yours, I want you to go ahead and curate that for us. What show is on right now? And this is a twofold, question. But what show is on right now that Taquoia should be in? Right? What is the scene partner that Taquoia will have? Who's the actor that's going to be with Taquoia in the film? So that's the 2-part question. What show right now is on that Taquoia should be in? They just don't know it yet. She need to be in it. And who is your ideal celebrity right now, actor right now, that should be in the scene with you?
Okay, I love that question. That's a good one. All right, so I'm going to. I don't watch a whole lot of shows, but this one really resonated with me. So I'm gonna say this: Taquoia Street. That's me. I should be in season 2 of Netflix. Them. No, it's not Netflix. It's Amazon Prime did that, I believe. So Them. I will go in and kill one of those scenes. It's definitely complex. It's different. It's weird. It's emotional. I can do all that. So season 2, that's for me. Who would I like to be my acting partner? I have a couple of people actually. So the first person that comes to mind is Denzel Washington. He's a legend. I mean, in fact, he's definitely a distant relative of mine. So I would love to have a family connection, and let's get Paula and everybody together and let's do a scene. Let's make it a family affair. So that would be what I would say. And John David is doing amazing. And at once upon a time, there were stories that, they came down and we played together. I don't remember it, but, that's what my late father told me. Rest in peace. So I would love to do that. That would be amazing for me.
Gosh, that question was so good. Okay, I don't even know anymore because that question was amazing. Okay, and of course, again, we don't put time limits because we have the timing, knowing that God will have everything hit when it is. Where do you see yourself artistically, or things that you may want to branch out into, maybe within this new decade of like 2020, 2021 to 2030? Are there things you would like to try artistically, things you want to continue to build on, like maybe with the arts program that you're doing now? Where do you see yourself exploring this decade as an artist?
Oh yeah, I've already thought about that, so I have that answer. So a couple of different things, right? If we're talking about decade, couple of different things. So one would be to expand my art program that I'm doing with kids. Like right now, I've just launched a nonprofit organization. Official launch is coming soon, but that's focused on literacy, right? But I do want to have a component of that where I focus on drama and theater and things like that. So that would be one thing. Another thing is my daughter is very much interested in the arts as well. She knows her mommy act. She's seen a film. She loves seeing her mommy on film, and she wants to do it too. And so my goal is to, I mentioned I'm not really auditioning or anything like that right now, but my goal is to start creating my own opportunities. And so I want to be in a place where I can create something for me and her to do, and just shop it and see where it goes. But at this point in my life, I have grown to say, okay, I'm not going to just sit around anymore. I'm sitting on talent. I'm not going to do that anymore. And so if I have to start creating my own opportunities in my own way, then that's what I'm going to do. So that will be what's next, is creating something for Ivory and I to do together, and, whatever. But I just really passionate about not only creating those opportunities for myself, but giving my daughter, my legacy, some opportunities that I didn't have as well. I see the talent in her. She's in my drama club. She loves it. I mean, you talking lines, honey, improv, okay, she's doing it. So I want to be able to create that next mark for other people. I'm not, a list or anything. However, that doesn't mean I can't create opportunities for others as well. So.
I mean, just to piggyback off of what you said, two things. I think it's really important. And when we see the shift right now, sometimes as artists, especially when we're newer to the journey, we feel as if we have to be validated by systems. And it's coming out more and more that these systems really weren't even created for us as people of color. And so we've been seeking these opportunities, and if you just give me this SAG card, or if you just give me this, and we're looking for validations in systems that were never built to validate us. And the push and the realization is something that you just said, create your own opportunities, create your work. Like, one of the people who popped in my mind when you were just speaking is like Issa Rae. She created her own work. They didn't want it. She was like, whatever, I know what I've got. And then it was like, now you see, right? But, there's many of us where we're looking for the validation from these other entities. And, at the end of the day, it's not even about being an A-lister, right? Because what you're doing now for those children, you don't know what that's going to spark in them. Even if you get to see it or not, like the seeds that you're planting right now and what they'll be able to do while you're still growing yourself and planting those seeds for Ivory and doing those things. So I just think it's, I love where you're like, nope, I'm not sitting on my talent anymore. I'm going to create these opportunities. And I know we've had these conversations a lot. And Cynthia and I have had these conversations a lot where sometimes I have just struggled when it comes to location, right? Because I'm just like, I can't do it. Okay. I'm in North Carolina. Oh my God. And it's tech, it's medical, and nobody does, and it's also like, you can do that. Or it's something that you said, you were like, I pivoted. Right. And so I just think that's really important. And I'm glad that you shared that, so that whomever is viewing this who may have those feelings is like, no, your gift and your talent first. And, if you can't trust your own gift, how can you get others to observe it or recognize it the same? So just you saying that you are continuing to create your work and you develop in these lanes does nothing but strengthen, the core of your gift. And I just love that, because there's so much, there's a voice that needs to be heard, and people who will continue to gravitate to the works that you will create. So
Agreed wholeheartedly. I'm inspired by you and everything that you're saying. I want to know though, when you did go into the audition room, and we know that more auditions are coming your way. When you go in and they hand you some sides for a cold read, how do you tackle that?
That's a good question. In that moment, you don't have a whole lot of time to do some of the things that I would normally do when I'm preparing for a scene. However, I try to read my parts, go through it, but I'm not just doing that. I need to find out as much as possible about that moment in the story. So I'm really focusing on the italics, what's in the parentheses, what are the stage notes, what's going on in this moment of a scene. And so that's what I focus on when I am getting ready for that cold read, is to what is happening, what is going on. Because I know I'm going to have the lines, right? So I'm not going to focus on that. Let me focus on creating this character in this moment of time that I have in front of me. And so that's kind of my thought process when I'm preparing for a cold read.
Well, on our show, we take all of our guests on a cold read journey of sorts. And we are so happy that you are going to read with us today, highlighting the playwright that we're talking about in this episode. So, without further ado, we all are going to participate in this because it is a scene that has 3 characters in it. Taquoia is going to be reading the role of Susan. Veronique is going to read the role of Anne Marie. I'm going to read the stage directions, but also there's another character that comes into the scene, and her name is Penny, I believe. Yes. Yep. Penny. I will read for Penny. So, whenever you ladies are ready.
I now call to order on this day, the 7th of September, the first tri-quarterly meeting for the monthly gathering of citizens unsettled by negative things in society, 6th semi-annual fundraising luncheon planning committee. Ladies, hello. I'd like to take this moment to officially, for the record, welcome Anne Marie to our little society of unsettled citizens. We hope that you, like us, want to put an end to all negative things.
Oh, yes.
Who approved the lie? I'm still speaking. All those out there who deserve it.
Oh, are you? May I?
You may speak.
Well, I guess I'd just like to say first off, thank you for having me. I know you don't always take new members, but I'm truly honored that you'd have me. I hope to be a valuable contributor and to help turn this world around by transforming negative things into positive things.
We're excited to have you, dear. Baptiste has told us all about you.
He has?
It's not every day that we see a new guest, let alone one with such high scores on their temperament test. You must be a very good girl.
I'd like to think so.
I mean, really, I truly am trying to think back to the last time we had a new member. Why, I believe it was you, Penny.
Yep.
Really? Where is... Excuse me? Hello? More wine, please. Baptiste, more wine, dear. Where is that man? He knows I can't work without my glass of Pinot. Wine! Wine! Baptiste! More wine! Wine!
Mary.
More wine!
Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary.
He may be a terrible waiter, but I promise you, Baptiste gives the best facials.
Oh,
Heavens knows you could certainly benefit from one of Baptiste's facials, Penny. I schedule a girl's spa day for later.
oh, I don't know. I'm here for the committee.
Yes, but we're gonna need it after a day like today.
We haven't done anything yet.
But it's important that we have fun. Otherwise, what's the point, right? So let me know if this ever stops being fun, okay? Just ask Penny. She's an inaugural member. She's still having fun all these years, aren't you, Penny?
Yep.
Well, after Baptiste arrives with our beverages and I give him a good licking for being so incompetent, I'll have him book us a clay bath, followed by a lavender scrub and clay facial.
Actually, Jamal and I have to pick up Benedict from,
Jamal?
yes, my partner. Benedict's father, well, adopted father, but he loves Benedict like he were one of his own.
Jamal? That's an unusual name. Is it European? Icelandic, perhaps?
Just American, I think.
Jamal. Could be Bulgarian. Oh, don't tell me. Gallic?
You know, I'm really not sure.
Jamal.
I'm not sure why it matters.
We're getting sidetracked. Thanks for keeping us on schedule, Perry. Penny. I would like to suggest a slight alteration to today's agenda by moving our yearly pledge to the top.
Pledges?
Yes, dear. A pledge, a vow, a promise of a donation.
I know what a pledge is. I just didn't know we'd be starting off with.
It's what it's expected. And besides, as citizens unsettled by negative things in society, we are looked upon as leaders in the community. That's why I want to move this item to the top of the agenda. We're going to get this year's luncheon off to a fabulous start. You see, when we as officers of the committee pledge our support, others see that and make pledges too. They look to us. Penny, the pledge book. Did you know that before I met Vincent, I used to uncover hidden explosive devices for the PD? I was highly trained and expertly skilled. I've saved hundreds of lives. Now, I received a medal of commendation from the mayor. I know everyone needs a hero.
I used to work at the hospital before Benedict was born. Oh. Okay.
But of course, once Vincent and I got together, I sacrificed my career to take care of the little ones. They're all self-sufficient now on their own. They don't need me anymore. And Vincent, well, he certainly doesn't need me. Only the good Lord knows where he goes day in and day out. I mean, where does he go? Where could he possibly go? There's only so many places he could go, leaving me alone to watch those pesky squirrels grab holes outside the window each day taunting me. And I must admit that it has unsettled me. Listening to those This American Life podcasts day after day, waiting for Vincent to return, all the terrible and negative things that plagued our society. So one day I told Vincent that enough was enough, and that if he didn't let me use my talents and energy to do something good in the world, to make an impact against all of those unsettling things, that I would tear his favorite shoes apart. His blue Stefano Ricci crocodile leather ones. I meant it too. I would have torn those loafers to threads. Why is it that we have to resort to bad behavior just to get attention?
And see. Susan, you're a trip.
Oh, my goodness. Susan, it was too much for me. I need some liquor, not wine. Did not know what I was getting myself into.
No. That was fun.
Woo.
Taquoia, how do you feel after that? How do you feel?
I feel amazing. I was having a rough day, and that really uplifted my spirits. I feel like doing something else now. Who knows?
You really breathe life into the character, you know, and like that's the job of an actor, right? To uplift to the character and its authenticity, and also like give the author their props and make sure that the audience receives what the playwright is trying to say. So you did a great job at that, Cole. Well, we thank you so much for coming on the show today. I'm inspired by you and what you're doing, and with a heart of servitude, teaching, but also being of service to yourself and not giving up on yourself, you know. And I think that's the goal, right? Is like to continue to forge on with our passion and not give up. And so I'm truly inspired by you today. I know that you know, COVID happened and things are happening, but to hear, in spite of all of that, you are still manifesting what you say you're going to have. I commend you wholeheartedly, sis, and I know that you're going to do some great things.
Thank you.
Hey.